online money makers. This is Michelle Brubaker here, and I'm excited to bring to you Carmen Reed-Gilkison. You'll have to tell me if I'm pronouncing that right, Carmen. Yay! Hi,
right, yeah.
welcome, Carmen. And you know what? She is going to talk to us about how to create online courses to build your business. And this is so awesome. I've done this myself. So, I mean, this is the bread and butter of an online business, is creating those courses that you can sell over and over and over again. And she's going to talk to us about how she does this in her business successfully so that you can learn more about it too. So Carmen, why don't you talk to us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and maybe how you got started in the kind of business that you're in?
Sure. So I am the founder of Midlife to Best Life, and it came to fruition because I went through a midlife crisis where suddenly I wanted to make every change possible to my life.
Wow.
Where to turn, there was really no guidance out there for me. And so working through and stumbling through and going through different mistakes and starting different businesses that didn't work. I mean, it's all a journey. Everyone has a journey. And I want to first encourage people that if you have a stumble, if you have a mistake, do not let that dissuade you, because it's all part of the growth. So through that, I became a certified whole person coach. And coaching opened up for me a world of how to ask questions to really get people opened up and to get in tune with what their inner answers are, because everyone really does have the answers inside. You just have to know how to crack them open. Yeah. So Midlife to Best Life, I do some one-on-one coaching, but what I'm really passionate about is creating courses. And I knew that going in, that I wanted to be able to have a kind of a passive money stream. You know, it's something that I definitely put the work in, and I've got a group, so I have interactions all the time. And then I do offer one-on-one coaching for people who want to go to the next level. Be able to put a course together. Courses I think of as being transformational. So someone is at one spot and they want to get to another spot, and your course is how you're going to get them there. Your course, your system, whatever it is. And being able to do that and create that and then put it up there and resell it over and over again, as you mentioned, is a powerful tool to grow your business. And aside from that, once you create a course, you also have all that content to be able to promote. So there are little, let's say, you know, whatever your course is, however long it is, you've got steps. You're taking people on step by step. So you could do blog posts or social media posts or email letters about, you know, any phase of that course to try to attract the people to what you're teaching. So it's really, to me, it's a no-brainer, because once you get it out there, it's in the world. And then the cool thing is you get feedback and you get to know how to improve it, and you get questions and you find out, oh, well, I could take it this direction. I could take it that direction. I could create another course that branches off of this one. So it's really a cool way to do it.
I love it. Exactly. That's neat. I want to just welcome folks. I see everybody coming on live here. Thank you, Chris. Christy says, yay, fantastic. Thank you that you're here. Thank you, Christy says over on Facebook. And welcome those who are watching also on YouTube. We welcome you here today. If you're watching this later as a replay, we welcome you also too. And I do love courses. You know, I have to tell you, Carmen, when I first started doing my own online courses, you know, there's a learning curve. It doesn't matter what you do. But the neat thing is you're doing it on something you already have knowledge and experience on. So it's not as hard as like trying to learn something totally new, because you already have experience. And in all the things I've done, and I've done a lot of things. I mean, I've done a lot of them. The online course one has been the most lucrative business model for me. And so I don't know. I mean, so if somebody's even thinking of it, I recommend getting started with an online course. And we've talked to people before who talk about coaching in this show, and Carmen does coaching as well. But online courses, it is, like you said, you can talk to somebody all over the world at any time, any day or night, and they can do it like DIY or
exactly
self-paced. Is that what you would call that?
Right. Yeah. So it's ideal for that, because then you're reaching a broader audience. You know, you're limited with one-on-one coaching, and one-on-one coaching, don't get me wrong, is excellent. And it does take people. It's more like honing in, fine-tuning, and you really can get someone farther doing one-on-one coaching because you're really able to focus, and because you're one-on-one. But depending on your course creation and how you do it, I will have to say that when I first started creating courses, I had the misconception that it was really just about as easy as putting step-by-steps together. And I learned not how you do it. You have to create an experience for your users. So if you think of any kind of transformation that people want to make. So let's say someone goes to IKEA and you buy furniture and you have to come home and you take out the instructions and you've got all these things as a course. But is that a good experience? No. You want your course you want it to reach the people where they're at. And you have to think of the fact that people are going to be coming in at all different levels of knowledge. So you have to be able to speak to the beginners and not lose the people that are a little bit more advanced. Now, of course, you want to hone in based on your targeting and your messaging so that you're going to get one core group, but there's going to be outliers. So your goal when you're creating a course is to make it something that is a great experience. They come in, they're able to understand the premise of it, they're able to follow the instructions and not feel like they're putting together something difficult from IKEA. So,
oh, yeah.
It's definitely an art to it, and it's making sure that you want to try to hit everyone the way that they learn. Some people are visual, some are audio or auditory. They learn better that way, and some like to read. So you kind of have to be able to provide different formats so that everyone is able to get the experience that suits them best.
Oh, most definitely. I bought a desk one time at IKEA, and in the instruction sheet, in the first square, it showed a picture of a person on the phone calling their friend for help. Step one was to get help from a friend. So no, that's not good instructions if I have to go get a friend to help me.
Exactly.
I love it. Marcia says here, I have many experiences. I just, knowing the steps to take, how to put those out there for people. Thank you, Marcia. Yeah, exactly. One thing that has been helpful too is the whole time zone thing, which I've run into that for me too with time zones. I'll have people that, I'll put a time zone out, and I happen to be like you on the far west coast of the United States, but there's people everywhere, and whatever time of day I pick, it's still going to be 6 a.m. in Australia. And then my person in Denmark says it's 10 p.m. And how to get those, this makes it able that people can do it at any time, anywhere too.
Exactly.
So that's a benefit of a course as well.
Definitely.
What kind of things do you put in your courses? Like, so you have your course and maybe there's some video or audio or downloadable content or worksheets.
All of that. Yeah. So I always you figure out what you're going to. So the way that I did my most recent one is called Passport to Purpose. So my target market is women that are over 40 who are ready to make a change like I was and there was nothing out there for me, right? So I'm solving the problem that I had, which is very common and a great way to start a business is by honing in on what you want to do or what you already know. But the thing with that is that I tried a couple different business models before that didn't work. And it was because I was kind of trying to do what all the gurus say, find a problem and solve it. And it always felt like I was wearing someone else's coat. Like it didn't fit mine. It was just like my heart wasn't 100% in it. It was like, I can solve this problem, but it's not lighting me up inside. And I didn't know how to figure out what that was. So the course that I created recently is Passport to Purpose that helps people decide and figure out through many different methods what the right thing for them to do is. Because although you can go down a rabbit hole and chase different ideas, you want to know what the correct one is that's going to be, your best result. So I do that through videos. I use videos a lot. So there's a welcome video. There's an instructional video about how to use the platform I use, which is MemberVault, which is a great platform. But any platform, you have to look at it as someone who knows zero about anything. That's how to do it. So I explain, here's how you navigate through this. So they watch that. And then each section of my courses has an intro that kind of lines out what the point of this module is, right? What's going to in this and how are you going to do it? And then I use a lot of questioning, which is what I learned in coaching, as I mentioned before. So once they go through and they answer questions, they start thinking differently. And there's downloads and worksheets to help supplement all of that. And so for people who maybe aren't comfortable going through an online platform, I make it easy so they can download the whole thing and take it with them. They're on their phone, they're on their computer at home or whatever, but they're not having to navigate a platform. So I try to do my best to make it as user-friendly from all aspects as possible.
That's a really good point, because I mean, even in my classes, I have folks that are young and then folks that are seniors and retired. And so, you know, there's a lot of that generational, the whole gap from young, you know, to older. And I mean, even myself, I learned how to type on an old typewriter. That's how old I am. Luckily, it was an electric one. But see, exactly, we need to make sure that the skill levels are covered for all of those. So choosing a platform is really important, and laying it out. I love how you said how you have these welcome videos. That's really great and instruction, how to use the content. So that's even like the course before the course, like the pre-course.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, you kind of have to do that because they're coming in blind. They don't know. And this, I learned a lot through feedback. So it's also a great idea to get people to go through people who you don't know. I recommend getting people you don't know, not friends and family, because they may be afraid to say their feelings about something. You know, you want objective feedback.
Yeah.
But I got some great feedback about one lady went through and she was like, well, I wasn't sure what to do when I got to this part. So that helped me fine tune. I put more instruction in there. And then I sent her a thank you video that showed, because of your feedback, this is what I've added to help others going forward. Because I want her to know that, you know, yes, I gave her the course for free to do that for me, but it wasn't in vain. And everything she said, because she was like, when she gave me feedback, she was like, I'm typically kind of blunt, so please don't worry, or please take it with a grain of salt. I'm like, that's fine.
I want blunt.
I want blunt. I want, you know, exactly what you feel. So, you know, don't be afraid. It's the people that you're trying to help. They're going to give you the feedback that are going to help you grow and change. Another thing I'll say is to get out your minimal viable product, right? So you want to you have your course idea and you could think of all kinds of ways to make it awesome, but you want to get it out there and tested. So you want to see how are people reacting to it. And then as you get feedback, you can then improve. So different iterations become better and better. So the course that you put out today may be vastly different from the one that it turns into a year from now. But you've got to get something out there. You can't let perfectionism and all that kind of thing stand in the way. You know, you really have to look at it as a test. You know, you're out there to test and you're getting feedback to help make it.
Well, let's talk about content too. So for content, whatever my knowledge and experience is on, would I just jot down what do I think would be 5 steps or 10 steps to this, and then create content on each of those steps? What would be a good way for someone who's brand new to this to get started?
Sure. So what you want to do is say, what is it that I have knowledge on that I'm passionate about teaching other people how to do? So you have to figure out then, typically you have the knowledge on it because you've gone through the experience. So the most important thing is to go way back in your mind to remember what it was like for you in the beginning when you were confused and trying to figure that out. A lot of times, you know, we have the experience, and what makes us feel so proud about where we've come from and what we've accomplished is that we worked through all of that and value in that. So you want to use that to your advantage, and you want to think about all the stumbling blocks you have and help streamline that process. So in my case, you know, I started a couple of businesses that didn't work. They weren't right for me. I know now how to hone down into exactly what the right thing is for someone and how to help them do that, which is super valuable because you can waste years and thousands of dollars. Trust me, I've done that. So, so you look at how did you get to where you are? How did you get the result that you're trying to give them? And then you go backwards. So right now you are the expert, you have the knowledge. So what was it like, you know, last year? What was it like the year before? How did you get that? What were your steps? So definitely write out the steps. And then you want to think of I like to think of each module, we'll call, you know, each module of the course is a step, but each one needs to be transformative in some way. So you know, you're coming in, this is what it was like when you first started it. This is what these people are experiencing. You have to know your audience too. So that's huge. So you have to know who you're going to help. You have to know what are they struggling with the most, which a lot of times it will be maybe the same things that you were, but there might be some other things that surprise you. So I can't stress enough that getting your audience in participation mode with you is critical. So starting out with like blog posts about it, starting out with maybe surveys or emailing your list or whatever it is to see who reacts to what, and then kind of lead them through. And then if there's someone who is really interacting well with you, ask them, to get on a one-on-one call with people is just so valuable because you get to hear their language, you get to hear their pain points, and you get to look at it from their angle. And that helps you remember what it was like way back when. And when we've got to a certain point, we've forgotten, really. And so you need to get into the shoes of the people that are having the problem now, so that then each module is a transformation. So you have 5 steps, let's say. Step 1 has a beginning and it has an end that prepares them for step 2 that has a beginning and has an end. So each one is basically stepping stones and will end up leading them to the final result.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Excellent, excellent way to move through the modules. You were talking about, hearing from your audience and stuff. And I know there's been times where I'll send out a survey and ask them, what are their pain points or what are they need help with? And when you get those responses back, sometimes you're actually surprised because, like, oh, I didn't know people were having an issue with that.
Right.
One of the most recent ones, I was on a group coaching call, and the most unique thing was there was a common thread running through all these people who said, Michelle, I have so many ideas. I don't know where to start because I have so many ideas. So I just don't start. And my answer to that is research. And so it prompted me to go create a little video training on how to do the research so you can pick the best. Of course, in my case, it's publishing. That's my personal business. So how to pick the best ideas for them. And, and a week later, they're like, oh, man, that just helped me so much. But see, I wouldn't have even thought that,
Right.
But when you hear it from people, let's see, we have a couple questions here. This is over on Facebook. Patty says, I'm considering launching a course. Can you talk about platforms? Do you compare Kartra to something else? So let's talk tech for a minute here. Let's talk tech for a minute. And, there's lots of different ways to do it.
There definitely
if I can make that go away.
Oops,
there we go. So let's talk tech for a minute and platforms, because there's so many of them and they all have different features and functions.
There are.
So what kind of platforms maybe you have experience, or you did some research, and of course I use some, and there's so many out there.
There's so many out there. So I think it's important to, ask the questions like she is right now, which is great to get feedback from different people and user experience. The other thing you can find out how it's going to be is to go through, when you go through courses, most of us have gone through courses, what platforms have you enjoyed being on? Because there are some that aren't as user-friendly as others. I personally use MemberVault. It is super user-friendly, and it has some great features, like you can, as you ask people questions, you are getting answers. When they fill out the answers, you're getting them. So you're getting your customers' own language throughout the entire course. So as they go through, not only are you helping them overcome something or achieve a new result, but you're also getting new ideas, just like we talked about, without having to necessarily send out a survey. And surveys are great, and I recommend them, but to be able to capture the information as people go is amazing. And other platforms may do the same. That to me is super helpful. And plus the customer support of the MemberVault crew is top notch. So for me, that's it. That's the answer. Platforms that I've used, I have been on Kajabi platforms. Amy Porterfield, she puts out courses on Kajabi. Teachable is another one that I like the layout of Teachable. They're all super comparable. I do find people in different groups that I'm in have different issues with them. So it depends on how tech savvy you are. So is your technical experience going to be a match with what you're using? And that one is a little bit more difficult to be able to answer until you try. So a lot of these platforms give you a trial period, 14 days, 30 days to go in there and try to put something together and see what it looks like and see how you interact with it. I mean, that's when I'm trying to look for new tech, I definitely take advantage of trial offers.
Oh, most definitely. Yes. Well, and then also cost, because some of them, I personally, because I'm a former web developer, I just do mine in WordPress and with a membership plugin. But you could even, as far as cost go, people say, Michelle, how come you're not using, Kajabi or one of these other ones? Well, I don't want to pay $200 a month for one when I already know how to do it myself. And there's a lot more cost-effective options that are out there, which is good. But even, if you're just brand spanking new and getting started, a Facebook group is free, and you can put content in a Facebook group and what else? You can put documents and things in a Facebook group or something.
Sure. You could do it all via Google Forms if you wanted to. I mean, and that would be a little bit difficult if you were doing a large course. But one of the other benefits of MemberVault, which I'm going to tout because I just love it, but they allow you to have 100 people in 100 customers, 100 clients in your member vault for free before you get charged. And that is using all of the bells and whistles. So their premise is they want to help you succeed. If you can get 100 people in there, chances are you're making money from those people. And then that's when you go into a paid program. So, I can't tout them highly enough because they really are on the side of the online business. But yeah, there's definitely free things, quizzes and stuff through Google Docs, through Google Forms. You can do that kind of thing. Again, if you're going to be putting something together that is, you could deliver an entire course via email as well. You can do your videos, send your daily lessons. That's a great way to start it. I mean, send it out. It can go an email a day or however you want to do it for however long, and get your feedback that way. And then go from there. So there's a lot of ways to do that.
That's great. What kind of, since we're on the tech topic, let me just answer a couple questions. Christy says, so helpful. Yes, formatting and platform help. Here we are. And then, and the question being, was it MemberVault, Christy?
MemberVault. MemberVault.co. So MemberVault.co. You can go to.
Great. So how are you doing your videos? Obviously, right now we're doing a video. In this case, it's live video. And a lot of people are familiar with Zoom as well. Is there other recommendations that you have? Yeah.
So I have a Zoom account. I absolutely love Zoom because you can just do whatever with it. But I also use Loom. Loom is free. So if you check out Loom, it's an app. It'll have a desktop app, and you can also record straight from your browser. It's a Chrome extension. That's a great way. It has everything that Zoom has, except I don't think webinar stuff, but you can share a screen. It can be screen view only. It can be just you. I don't think you can invite people on, but for doing a course where you're trying to show something, it's great. So you can capture your screen with that for free. So I use a combination of Zoom and Loom. So,
well, that's great. I think it's important that people, and their brand spanking new, if they don't have a lot of budget to start with because they're just getting started, to use some of these free resources. Excellent. Thank you for referring all these free resources to Carmen. And then once you're making the money, then invest it back in your business for more expensive software, more bells and whistles and all the fancy smancy stuff. Which is what I did too, is I wanted a software that would do affiliate marketing for me.
Right.
And so, but that was a high cost item. I waited after I did one or two courses before I implemented that. And then I was able to afford the monthly fee for the software. So once you're making money, then it'll pay for itself eventually.
Yeah, and it depends too. I know that like ClickFunnels has an affiliate feature, MemberVault has an affiliate feature. I don't know about Kajabi and all those, but a lot of them have that built in. Now those are all paid platforms except MemberVault for your first 100, but you can get stuff rolling and then it's pretty easy to do. So when you're looking at your different tech, think of the future. Right now, maybe you think I'm not ready or I have no desire to do affiliate stuff, but down the road, you may want to. You may want people promoting your stuff. It's another income stream. And I think when we're talking about money online, that's what we're talking about. You want to be able to have as many income streams that are passive as possible, and affiliates is the great way to go with that.
Oh yes, it has been really good for me too. And I've did a future past. I did a past video a little bit about all kinds of affiliates, but that would be definitely another conversation to have.
Sure.
It's a great income stream. I'm going to check our questions over here and see. Oh, look at all of our people here. And thank you for the love hearts and thumbs up. That's so sweet.
Yeah, thank you.
Much appreciated. Much appreciated. So let's see, we talked about some of the tech. We talked about how to set up the content in in your course. What else, Carmen? What else do we need to know about before creating our online course to grow our business?
I think really I am going to go back to, don't forget the people that you are creating the course for. Put from as many as you can. So one of the ways that I did that, which is really handy, is to go into groups where your ideal client hangs out. And I'm sure you probably covered this before. There's so many ways to do that. Now, you don't want to go in all salesy, you don't want to go in all pushy, but if you're in groups where your ideal client hangs out, so I deal with midlife women, and so there's a group called Empty Nesters, so that's perfect. That's Empty Nest Moms, so that's my ideal client is in there. So if I'm in there interacting, people are automatically interacting with me, and I get people that reach out, oh, what do you do, blah, 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 they ask. And then when it comes time to ask for feedback on something, I've already built that connection and I can get feedback from them. And it is putting people through something for free for one time. You know, you can also launch the beta version of your course that's a greatly reduced price and let people know that, you know, you're starting it at whatever, $27 now, but it's going to go up to $197 in 6 months. So get in while the getting's good. And that you do that with the caveat that you're asking for feedback. So I think besides the tech, besides knowing what you want to teach and making sure that you're creating a great user experience by using audio, text, and video as much as possible, and you want downloads, you want people to be able to feel like it's a meaty thing. You know, you don't want it to feel like the IKEA deal. Like you're doing something good. So you're trying to create a user experience. So that comes from the people that you're trying to help. So don't forget to incorporate their feedback, their suggestions, and their pain points into your process.
That's great. All right, we have a question from Nicole. Says, how do you decide on your pricing? Do you prefer per video pricing or per course, or a monthly membership for pricing?
Yeah, so that's a great question. You could do all of those. It depends on what you're doing. So when Michelle's talking about that all those people had a question and she created a video training, that's it could be a free opt-in, but it could be a low price offer, like a $7 offer. Let's say she ran ads to that $7, and then that leads her into, this is one topic I wanted to discuss, so I'm glad it was brought up. People come into your business through many different ways, and every customer doesn't have the same experience. So by understanding what people are wanting and needing and experiencing, that's when you create all these different lead magnets, and that's how you get them into your world. Then you decide, based on whatever it is, when you start answering questions and solving problems, how difficult of a problem was that to solve? If you're talking about making a huge life transformation like I do when I'm trying to help someone discover their purpose, that's going to probably be a higher ticket item than it's going to be if I'm answering a smaller question. So you have to weigh it, and you have to look at what is your experience that you have, what did you have to invest in it? That's a great way to look at it. So if I had to go take 20 courses to learn how to do this one thing that I'm putting a course together, it's going to be a higher ticket course because I couldn't learn that in just one. And a lot of times life experience is like that. So how do you put money to it? I think a great way to do it is to start with a beta offer, start low and let them know that it's going to be going up. You're getting it at a great deal. And then you see what your feedback is, you improve it, and each improvement, you raise your price. So when you're talking about a per video cost, I don't see that being a viable option for an entire course, because you want the course to have a price. So if the video, if it's a masterclass and it's a 2-hour video or 1 hour or whatever it is, that you're taking people through from one point to a transformation to get to another point, then you look at, what did I need to know to be able to give them this transformation? Was it a PhD? Was it, coaching for 10 years? What was it, so that you can kind of help gauge what the price is. So there's no tried and true answer for that. You kind of have to test. But I always like to go in with a beta launch that's going to definitely shoot the price, because it helps people get the urgency factor, get in now while the getting's good. And then as those people go through it, you're improving the course. So then you just go from there.
Oh yeah, exactly. And it's interesting because I was just thinking back to some of my courses, and I did like 2 courses. I did one course, then another next month I did another course. And then I just kind of on a whim had this idea for another topic. And my personal business is publishing. So I just kind of thought, anybody want to do a class on how to make cookbooks? Like, anybody interested in that? And I just threw it out there, and everybody's like, yeah, what you want? And I'm like, all right, fine, So I did this cookbook class and on how to publish a cookbook. And the interesting thing is I put it out there to affiliates and also to my audience and anybody else for $19, which was extremely low. In fact, my own coach, I highly recommend hiring a coach. My own coach was like, Michelle, what are you thinking? $19? Your other courses were $197 and $297, and you just said $19 for this thing. But I only had 25, 30 people in the previous course. But what happened when I did that $19 course was I had like 120 people come in from all over the place. And so, and then as soon as that course was completed, at the end of it, I was able to say, okay, if you liked that class, you're going to like my next 5-6 month series coming up, or you're going to like this next class. And so I was able to offer people, okay, for 6 months, you can pay so much per month for the next 6 months, or you can make a one-time lump payment at a discounted price for paying it in full. And I had people take me up on that. And that $19 offer really just launched me into everything else. And even though some of those people have never bought anything else from me again, every once in a while, I'll see a sale come through and I'll look it up and it'll be from one of those people on the $19 offer. And I just wake up in the morning to another $100 or $200 or $300 or $400, $500 in a sale from one of those. So even though at the time it didn't make me a lot of money, in the end, it made me a lot of money over the course of 6 months, that initial offer like you're talking about.
Definitely. Well, you want to make it so it's great to have those kind of core lead-ins that are a lower price, that are also super great value, because then what happens is exactly what you explained. So those people went through that and they were probably blown away with how great that course was. And they're like, oh my God, I want whatever else she's going to do next. That's the beauty of a low price offer. So don't get hung up that your offers have to be $497, $597, or whatever. Have 1 or 2 that are the lower price for people. It's a lower price point to get people to know, like, and trust you. Because when people are coming in cold, they don't know you, they like or trust you yet. And so they get to have that option. They get to go through something. They get to learn something. They get their socks off with how great your course was. And you will see as well, then if you keep that as an evergreen model, money will just keep coming in. So, it's not a bad thing. And pricing is definitely something to test. So
you can keep that, I've since raised the price of that class. But the neat thing about that too is that, I know what I was going to say. Pardon me. I'm sorry. The brain fart was the sweet spot that I discovered over a year of doing classes. What is the price point for all of the classes I've done? I don't know, a dozen of them or so. What has been the sweet spot for me where I tend to get the most? And that's because of my audience. Now, somebody else might find what their sweet spot is for their audience, but my own personal audience, it's been $97. And so for my $97 courses, that seems to be the one that brings me the most in my prices. Now, do sometimes people buy the $200 or $300 ones? Yes. And sometimes people buy the $500 one, and which is great. And I absolutely love that. I was mowing the lawn the other day, Carmen. I was mowing the lawn, which I never do. And I came in for mowing the lawn. I usually let my husband do that. No judgment there. It's just that I broke my wrist last year. So anyway, and I came back in and someone had bought a $500 course. And so I was telling my husband, I should go mow some more. And he said, oh yeah, down the driveway needs done. I'm like, no. But it's those moments that you're like, okay, my value is over that $500 because people are still paying that. And my value is also at that 97. And you find that with your audience over time, what that best sweet spot is for them. And you will, everyone will too over time.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. And a good thing to think about too is when you're forecasting and budgeting for your year, what is your revenue goal? And so how many sales you have to make? So if you have a $19 course, you have to make 100 of those. But if you have the $500 course, you make 20 of those, so, but how hard is it to make that sale? Maybe you could make, the $19 sale all day long, and that's going to earn you more money than the $500 course is. So I think that there is a perceived value, but it's just like what I have a freebie that I give away that's an opt-in that people send to my list all day long for this, and it's super good value. I mean, I could sell this as a course, but I don't, because it's the same thing, the same principle as I want someone to come in and be blown away with what they got, so that then they're like, wow, I want to find out what else is coming up. And then you're priming them for the next thing. So it's always about giving more value than what you're think that they're expecting, and then just testing the pricing to see what your sweet spot is.
Exactly. Well, and I think your experience too, because you went through this amazing transformational experience, and so you have such great knowledge. I think, and it comes down to that too. So if you only have a little bit of experience, I mean, I'm not going to go teach a cooking class because I'm not a very good cook. I'm just okay at it. I'm not going to be a cooking blogger or whatever. Maybe foodie restaurant, but not. So I'm going to take something that I really am. So when I say, okay, I've sold 20,000 books, that pretty much does, or what do you call it? Social proof. Your social proof that says, hey, I've got the experience here in the goods, and then people are willing to throw down the money for that. So thinking about what your experience is and how much people want that and access to that.
Definitely. That all comes into play. And I would say, even with like your free opt-ins, when I'm talking about the one that I think is so much value for the people that opt into my list, I always include a video. So you're trying to get people who have not had any experience with you to suddenly be in your world. So you want them to understand who you are. And there's no better way than adding a video. So if you use Loom, like I mentioned, Loom is free. You can add that into an email. So when someone downloads whatever it is, they get the video that introduces yourself and gives them a little bit of tips on how to get the most out of whatever that resource is that you gave. It's just, the whole thing is about giving value. I mean, you could charge for that, but you don't want to charge for everything. You want people to get value first, and then they feel comfortable. And then you also want to be able to have different price tiers, different price points, because not everyone's going to go from $19 to $500. Not everyone's going to go from free to 97. I mean, there's got to be some options in there. So it's about diversifying. And I think one of the great things about courses is once you create a course, you have all that content, like I mentioned before. So you can take little snippets out of that to see if I do a blog post about this portion of it, and you're not giving the whole course away, but you're doing a topic to get people's interest piqued. Who responds and what kind of reaction do you get? And that kind of will help you know what direction to go in the future. So
that's awesome. One thing I found, like you were saying before about getting people's feedback, is I've been able to take that feedback and add on, a little micro course to the same course. And after adding that upgraded piece of it, I'm able to go back to all the people who didn't buy it and say, hey, now I've also added this to the course too, after popular request.
Sure.
And so now I'm able to go back, and still some of those other people will buy the course with the new little add-on with it. And then also at the end of every course, I always ask for reviews from people and get those testimonials. And not everybody will do it, but the people who love you will, and they will write an amazing review, which is awesome. And I think that those completely sell the courses for you too, is when people write those rave reviews about how easily they learned, or that transformative experience that they went through with you.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's such a win-win. And I think most of us, if your heart's in the right place, you're trying to help people achieve something brand new. So it's so rewarding to be able to put something together to take your life experience and your knowledge and to be able to help other people go through the transformation from where they are to where they want to be, which is your expertise. I mean, I can't think of a better way to do that. And it's just rewarding. And then, like we said earlier, you've got it on autopilot. People can DIY it no matter where they are in the world. They can take the course, they can go through it, and you can still get the feedback. And, they tell their friends, and it just grows from there. So
exactly. Yes. And definitely rewarding. I know we had Melanie Binger on, a coach previously, talked about starting a coaching business, but how it creates impact with people.
Right.
And that is very rewarding. It's rewarding for me when I hear somebody is, when people are watching our videos, even here right now today, Carmen, they go out and they implement something that we said, and it creates an impact on their life. Most people, even just another $50 or $500 a month would be impactful to them. And so that creates such joy in my heart when I see that somebody is making a difference, or that I'm making a difference in somebody else's life. And courses is a really great way to do that with people. And it's very rewarding and very, creates impact in the world and leaves a legacy even.
Yeah, well, and you can think back in your own experience to a course where you're like, that was such a good course. I just loved it. I mean, you might not ever, maybe the person is shy. Maybe they don't respond to your request for a testimonial, but you really have impacted them. So imagine all the people that you don't even know you impacted. I mean, it goes regardless of whether you're building a course or anything else. It's just in life, we are impacting others every single day. I like to think of it as like a drop into a lake, and the ripples that go out, it's the ripple effect, so make sure what you're doing is heart-centered, make sure it's good, it's for the good of everyone, try for win-win situations. I mean, and communicate with your people, and I think you'll be doing great.
Yes, wonderful. Well, that's great. I'm going to just check last minute. We still have quite a few people on here, and I thank you all that are here. I'm seeing all of you. Oh, thank you. Be sure to if you're watching on YouTube, to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Click the little bell icon so you get notified when new videos come up. And then also, if you're watching on Facebook, please like this video and feel free to comment on it. We'll come back and check those if we haven't answered the questions already in here. And then also, so there we go. Great. What a sweet thing to say. Thank you. This has been extremely valuable and helpful. Thank you, Carmen and Michelle. Oh, you're so welcome.
Thank you.
We appreciate that. If you know somebody who might be interested in learning more about online courses, tag them in this video or share this video with them. So they can learn how to get started creating online courses too. Carmen, why don't you just bring it home for us here and tell folks, hey, this really is doable, and this is a great business model for earning online income. So I'll let you go ahead and wrap it up there.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think when we all think about, if you're wanting to earn online income, what do we always think about? You want to think about being in Barbados or something and you're on the beach, or you're mowing the lawn like Michelle was, and you come in and there are sales that you didn't have. You did the work in the beginning. And I'm not going to say that it's easy, because I'll tell you that putting a course together is not easy. If you're going to do quality, you're going to take people on a transformation. There's a lot that goes into it. But once you do it, it's done. And then you've got the opportunity to earn the recurring revenue. And there's nothing more rewarding than coming in or getting a text. You can set up through Zapier or different things, depending on the platforms you use, to get notified every time you make a sale. And it's just a sweet feeling. So yes, it's doable. Take your knowledge, your expertise. Everyone has it. And we're here to impact the world with what we know. And what better way to do it than courses?
I love it. Well said, Carmen. Yes. So go out there and make some money in the world, and then go do good in the world with it. So thank you all so much for watching today. Thank you. Bye. Say bye, Carmen.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.